So this just arrived then. It's supposed to be a scanner, a diagnostic scanner that we're going to review. I've never seen a box so big. I guess we better open it up and find out what's inside. What is up, you absolute stunners? Welcome back to Budget Cars and Bikes and to another product review. You can tell we are in the kitchen, so that can mean only one thing. We are going to unbox this brand new scanner. Now, I knew this was going to be a big scanner because it was very, very expensive, but I didn't think it was going to be quite this big. As you can see, the box takes up pretty much half the kitchen. So it's going to be very interesting to see exactly what's inside this box. So I'm going to stick you guys on the tripod and we'll unbox it together and find out what nearly £1,000 worth of scanner looks like. Well, we're getting there, aren't we? I mean, we've got these massive boxes down here and we've still got two boxes to undo. I think a bit of overkill here. This is the brand new launch X431 Pro 3 Ace. Bit of a mouthful there, but it is supposed to be literally the only scanner or the last scanner you will ever need to buy. This isn't necessarily for the amateur, the DIYer. This is far more professional. As I said, this is getting on for £1,000 to buy this unit. They've sent it out via the launch website, of course. Many thanks to them once again for supporting the channel. And this will do, as I said, pretty much everything you're ever going to need it to do. It is, of course, bi-directional. It has all sorts of functions I've never heard of, and we will go through those in a moment. What I'll do is I'll continue the unboxing, and then I will have a little power on, as it were, have a little look through the menus. Then I'll need to set it up, connect it to Wi-Fi, and then we'll pop out to the car and put it through its paces. But yeah, we've still got to get these boxes unwrapped and find out exactly what's inside. So we're back on time lapse, I guess. So there they are, finally out of the boxes. I mean, it's a bit of a bloody joke, isn't it? I'm going to get all this. This is all the boxes for this. It's, yeah, going to be taking a little bit of recycling. There are your non 16-pin adapter box. So obviously this comes with a shed load of adapters, that anything you will ever need, basically. I imagine it's just like the other launch we did, which I'll stick in up here somewhere. That was quite expensive as well, around about £500, I believe. We've done a review on that, as I said, link in the top right just now. And that came with all the adapters you'd ever need, and also did pre-1996 cars as well, which none of the new OBD sensor kind of scanners do, but that did, and I'm assuming that is going to be the same case for this one over here, and there itself will be the scanner. But I guess we better try to open these boxes up, the final boxes as it were, and see exactly what we get inside. I'll stick you back on the tripod a sec, guys. So there's our first box, guys. This is the not quite sure what that means, non 16-pin adapter box that you get as part of the package with this scanner, of course. So we'll spin this round and get a look at exactly what you get in here. You basically just unclip the sides here and this will all open up, he says confidently. And inside there you will see all your little adapters. Now these are based on the other launch that we did, which I think I linked in up here just previously. These are the adapters that you will get for free, basically, with this scanner. There's a whole list in the instruction manual, the user manual, as it were, of exactly what these do. I haven't been through that just yet. If you want for some more info, then just go onto the website. It'll tell you exactly what these adapters do. Effectively, something like this, if we can just pop this out of here, that will probably be for an older BMW, but that could also be that one there. Just to give you an overview of exactly what you get here. It looks like it's an old VAG connector there with whatever that fits into. But as I said, these are primarily for the older cars, pre-1996, I think, that don't use the OBD2, but it means that you can actually use this system with that, if I've got my information correct. That is the, as I said, the 16-pin adapter box that you get as a freebie, I guess, in that respect. Anyway, we'll put this away and then we'll get to the exciting part, as it were, the scanner itself. And of course there is our mega box, the box that houses the scanner itself, obviously in here. Incredibly robust, as you can see. Plastic hinges, which I'm not a huge fan of, if I'm honest. I always get the feeling that they may fail after a certain amount of time, but it is a hard plastic case. We'll spin it around and you can see there that you just effectively just open up these little clips here. Again, I would have liked to have seen something a bit more than just plastic, but it seems like a very good quality plastic. Anyway, let's get this box open, see what we get inside as usual with the launch stuff. you get your little compartments here, which you effectively just pull up the pins here and just here. And inside here, you're going to find all sorts of goodies. There's your charging block there for the scanner itself down there. You will get a number of adapters to plug it into your country. There's our UK one, of course. And there is a SCART lead there as well to OBD. By the looks of things, you get a 12-volt power connection there as well if you need to charge it up from your car battery, which is always useful. And some more connectors in there. That looks to be another BMW perhaps adapter in there, and a Type-C USB as well there. I'm assuming that will be for your updates, and you could probably charge it through there as well. It's looking a bit ramshackle in here at the moment, guys. I did actually lend this scanner to a very good friend of mine so he could do some stuff on his car. The good news about that is we found out, well, I can tell you that he was having problems. He fitted a new engine in a car basically, and he was having some problems with the vibration. Wasn't sure if it was the gearbox mounts, engine mounts. Turned out to be the clutch flywheel, I believe, and apparently he fixed that with this scanner. There's a program inside there where you can rebalance the flywheel, and he managed to do that just by using this machine here. Incredible. I'm not a mechanic, guys, as you know, so I'm not quite sure of the intricacies of that, but he did tell me all I had to do was plug this in and it fixed the problem for him by balancing some kind of shaft. That's all I can tell you, but it's good to know it has that technology. As I said, I'm not a mechanic. I tried to understand what he was trying to say to me, but instead of having to take the engine back out and check the mounts and all the rest of it, turns out, I think he said it was the flywheel that was unbalanced, and he managed to rebalance it using the machine. Incredible technology. Anyway, there is the scanner itself. There is your power block, as it were. I think we'll go into that more so in the car. Effectively, that will connect to the car, and obviously as a Bluetooth dongle almost, that will connect to the scanner. So let's get this bad girl out. As I said, guys, I have lent this to a friend of mine, a very good friend of mine, because he was having these problems with his car after he put an engine in it. So it's looking a little bit grubby, but there it is in all its glory. We will go into the dimensions, the operating system, the specs, all that kind of stuff when we get into the car. I just wanted to give you a quick overview, as it were, of what you can expect in the box. There is your launch logo there, and obviously a barcode. We do get this little hook here, which I do love to see that on a scanner, because as you can see, you can use it just in this kind of angle here. You can hook it over the steering wheel of the car. You can get it into the engine bay. Obviously, this is cordless via that Bluetooth dongle I just showed you. There are some ports up here, I believe. Yeah, that looks to be, that's a Type-C, and that is, by the looks of things, a USB there, just a normal one. So you can connect up there as well. Not much going on the sides by the looks of things, but we do have our power button here. So if we just ever so quickly try to boot this system up, and we'll talk about how quickly it boots up. I would expect this to be somewhere in the region of 20 to 30 seconds, no more than that. I'd be very, very surprised if it was longer than that, because it should have a mega chip in there and a very good RAM and an operating system. Based on the price that it is, I would expect that to be a Windows 10 or 11. So as I said, it shouldn't take too long to fire this up. We've only got 18% battery, so as I said, we'll do everything else in the car. And there you go. What was that? 15 seconds. Very, very impressive. We will have our usual tiles on here as well. There's a system update, team viewer for getting support from other people. There's support via the launch website there as well. There's going to be your cameras. There should be a pull down menu. There we go. That'll connect us to the Wi-Fi. We can change everything around in here as well. Notifications, just like an Android setup. Basically, this is an Android interface. So everything you would expect to see is in here. We'll have settings, of course, like you would on your phone. So we're not going to go into that right now. So there is the tile you would press basically to get inside here, and then obviously you can start scanning and everything else. And there it is. That is the user interface for the launch scanner. As usual, you've got your service functions. Remote diagnosis is a new thing where you can invite friends to help you out. We've got a feedback form, which I don't know how useful that's going to be, if I'm honest. Usual diagnostic history to see what you've already done. There are 93 software updates still to do. There's a dedicated TPMS button. You can email your reports over to people as well, but that's very, very useful. There's a quick vehicle coverage, info center. Not gone into that. Maybe we'll do that in the car. Other modules you can add to here, like bore scopes, that kind of stuff. You can open that up. And then obviously you've got your service functions up here, as I said. We might be able to have a little quick look in there. There we go. We've got the ABS bleeding, adaptive front lights, AdBlue, clutch matching, electronic throttle, learning down there. You can put new batteries in, this kind of stuff, stop-start systems. That is your service function inside there. Local diagnosis, not sure if we'll be able to get into that because we're not actually connected, but that'll give you an overview of the cars that you can actually check this out with. Obviously, we've got the common cars, American, European, Asian and Chinese. Kind of thought Asian was Chinese, but hey-ho. But as I said, we'll get more in depth with this when we get out to the car. So that is the quick overview, as it were, the interface for this launch. And I think it's time we actually took this out and did some tests. So a couple of seconds for you, and we'll get out to the car. It's a beautiful sunny day, so let's go and boil ourselves in the car trying to work out how to use this scanner. So welcome to the Nissan Qashqai, the 2012 J10. We are going to switch on this new scanner from launch now and explore exactly what it can, what it cannot do. I will talk to you about all the specs, that kind of good stuff. We'll do a few tests and then we'll pop back inside the house and I'll give you an overview and my recommendations should you buy, etc, etc. So we better switch this bad girl on, and that should be just up there. It takes around about 25 seconds to fire up this. It's a pretty intuitive user interface, as you would expect from launch, running Windows 10. It's got a quad-core processor, and there she is, the usual kind of interface there we showed you in the house just now. As I said, around about 25 seconds to start this up. It does come with a quad-core processor, 4 gigabytes of RAM, a huge 6,200 milliamp battery, which should last you days and days. It also has an 8 megapixel camera, which is kind of cool, running Windows 10, and it also has 5G connectivity. All very, very positive things, I'm sure you would agree. This, before we get into it as well, will also do the new Canvas FD, the more modern cars on the market, 2020 onwards, the 2021s, 22s, 23s, 24s, and I'm assuming probably with the updates 25 and 26, because you do get 2 years free updates with this as well. And it effectively means that the big adapter block that we showed you inside the house, which is sitting just down there, that enables you to run your diagnostics super quick, fast, lightning fast, they reckon. And as I said, it will do, well, it'll help to diagnose and report back all the issues you might find with the newer cars. Some of the more expensive, older launches perhaps don't have that functionality yet. It is actually the first time I've seen one of these huge bricks down here. But we'll see how we get on with that. As I said, 2 years worth of free updates as well. So yeah, that's kind of cool. We've got topology mapping as well, which we haven't covered on the channel before. So we'll get into that during the scan. And it will cover cars from 1996 to 2024. But as I said, with the 2 years free updates, you'll probably find that that'll cover 25 and 26 as well. I'm assuming, of course, it doesn't say anything about that on the website, but I'm assuming because you get 2 years free updates, it should carry forward then into 2025 and 2026. Now, it is advertised as doing heavy duty trucks as well, but apparently it does do that. It does have the functionality, but you do need to buy another cable for that. And that cable with the module as well is not cheap. So if you're looking at buying something that's going to do heavy duty trucks, you will need another cable, and they're about 500 quid. So yes, I'm not quite sure how I feel about that. To say it does it, but you've got to buy another bit, it always kind of gets on my nerves that little bit. It does have the technology inside, but you need to download the software and buy the cable to do it, just like you would if you wanted to use an endoscope or something like that, which again is a bit annoying, especially considering it's about 500 quid. Obviously it has Bluetooth, that's what we're connected to now. There are no wires, and it's got the little hook at the back there because we've hooked it over the steering wheel, as you can see. 10-inch screen, full high definition as well, which looks absolutely delicious. And of course there's robust kind of rubbery outer shell here, which means that if you are in a garage environment and you drop this, you shouldn't really get any kind of huge dramas, although it doesn't come with a screen protector. I would have liked to have seen one fitted like you would with a mobile phone, and perhaps even a spare one inside the case at this kind of price point. I mean, we're looking at 800 quid here. A screen protector, yeah, launch, you could have thought about that. It would have been kind of, you know, a tempered screen protector would have been really helpful and nice to have included. Of course, it will program new keys for you. If I get a chance, I would like to get a new key program for this car. You'll have to go and get your original key and get a blank cut. But if you buy the fob with the chip inside, you should be able to. In fact, I know you will be able to program a new key into your car, or from your car, as it were. So you have a couple of spares. And, you know, you can buy, for example, this car here, I can buy a key with a chip and a fob for about 5-6 quid. probably attempted to get the key cut, so you're looking at 15-20 quid to get a spare key with a remote and the chip and all the rest of it for your car, which I think you'll agree is amazing value. If I took this to Nissan and said I need a new key, they'd probably charge me 200 quid, so it's like a tenth of the price. It is, of course, bi-directional. I'm not sure if we've covered that, but it is a bi-directional scanner, as you would expect at this price point, which basically means you can test out all the modules in your car. If you've got an electric window that's not working, or a windscreen wiper that's not doing what it should do, lights that are not doing what they should do, you can actuate all of those modules from this by doing a bi-directional scan and find out if it's the switch, if it's the motor, if it's a fuse, all that kind of good stuff. So it saves you time buying parts, throwing parts at your car that you might not actually need. You can just do a bi-directional scan and then find out if, as I said, if it's the switch down here, if it's the motor in the door, if it's something completely different. Always really, really, really useful to have a bi-directional function on your scanner, of course. And it will do ECU coding to all your modules as well. So if you like welcome home lights, if you like your windows to go up and down when you press the lock key on your fob, if you don't like that, you can disable it. If you don't like the chime on your seatbelt thing, so as soon as you stick the key in, it bing bongs at you. If you don't like that, you can turn it off, you can turn it on. If it's not on, you can change the time period it stays on for. So that's all kind of useful. All that's part of the ECU coding. That's just a very, very small example of what it will do and what you can do to personalize and customize your car using this, of course. And when we get into the testing as well, it does have a data stream there. We'll get into that, as I said, in a second. But the thing I like about this one is you can check each cylinder. So you can actually start the car up and then check cylinders 1, 2, 3, and 4, being a 4-cylinder car, this one is. And you can see if there's any kind of discrepancies between the 4 cylinders. So if you think your car's running a little bit lumpy, maybe you need a new coil pack or a spark plug or something like that, then you can find out exactly which one it is without messing about. You can just literally do a data stream on here and then choose cylinder 1, 2, 3, and 4. It'll show you literally in each corner all those cylinders, or you can have a kind of graph with an overlay on it, which will show you what all your cylinders are doing, which ones are firing correctly, which ones may not be, which I really like that function as well. Anyway, let's get into our first scan. And there is the menu. I think we covered this inside the house as well. I'm sorry if there's a bit of sun glare here, guys. There's not much I can do about that. It is a very sunny day and we're doing it outdoors. So there is the interface. As I said, I think you've already seen that. We have 111 updates, which I'm going to do at some point. The intelligent diagnosis and the local diagnosis service function, remote diagnosis, which basically means you can get a friend to help you if you need it. Today, we are going to look at local diagnosis. Okay, now we need to manually select, and what we'll do is we'll say we are in Europe, because I'm in England, of course. We'll click Great Britain, and we will go down to Qashqai, which should be somewhere around the bottom, I would imagine. There we go, Qashqai, and we are in a J10 2012. Now, as often is the case with these, it'll come up with these years here. Now, obviously, ours is a 2012, but it's a facelift model, so we will go for the 2011. That should get us where we need to go. And there's the topography map here, which we can do a system scan, a smart detect, or a system list, which will basically tell us what we do and do not have. What I will do is a smart detect to see what that's all about, and I will leave this running for a second to let you see exactly how this works using the topography system. As you can see at the top there, it'll tell you what is normal, what is abnormal, what's been scanned, what's not been scanned, and what's not equipped, which will come up as grey. So obviously the green ones are normal. I imagine some of them will turn out to be grey because obviously there are certain things that we do not have on this car. If it does take a little bit longer, guys, I'll just kind of speed this up a little sec. Okay, so I think it's done its thing. As you can see, the grey sections there are the things that aren't equipped. Basically, we've got ECM, IPDM, ABS, EPS, SRS, etc., etc. And as you can see, it will go through the power system, as in the BCI, I'm assuming. I'm not quite sure what safe is. Body there as well, chassis, NATs, whatever that might be, and the ADAS system. And basically we will clear the DTCs, even though there aren't any. We'll just clear them just for giggles, and I think that's probably done there. So that is the smart scan, as it were. So we'll go back out of there, and no, that was the smart detection. What I'll do is go into a system scan now and see what's going on there. And again, it'll tell you in blue what's been scanned, what's not been scanned, and what's not equipped, and what's normal and abnormal. So we'll let that just kind of finish its program now. By the way, the NATs thing I was talking about is pretty explanatory. It says right up there, the Nissan anti-theft system. So there we are. You learn something new every day. Every day's a school day. And there it's done its thing. I mean, it's pretty much exactly the same as the system scan, the smart scan or smart detection system scan. I don't see much different. Everything is as I expected it to be, of course, normal. We do have a slight problem. Those of you who have been watching the channel for a while will know we've got this little yellow light that comes on the dashboard for this. It always does that as well when you're finished, which comes on the dashboard of this car every time I turn the ignition on. Somebody did say thank you guys for that, whoever chimed in. Somebody did say it was the rear seatbelt passenger occupancy sensors that were going off because the seatbelts weren't connected. I've tried putting those little kind of bungs in there. That didn't do a thing, basically. I think it's something else. I've never been able to find out what that is exactly. We'll go into the system list now, because I do actually quite like this section here. If we look at the body control module, we'll just enter into there. It'll kind of go into another different scan now. It's communicating with everything. This is where the bi-directional kind of function comes in, the data streaming, that kind of stuff. If we look at the actuation test as an example, let's have a look at the door locks. No need to monitor the data. We'll just all lock, all unlock, door unlock, outer unlock. So if we go into all lock, you should be able to hear something. There you go. And then all unlock. And you just heard them all unlock. That is basically the bi-directional aspect of this scanner, and a lot of the bi-directional scanners, obviously, if you want to check things. Now, if I wasn't sure whether it is my key or the door lock or some kind of sensor in the car, if one door didn't lock, I'd know which one was at fault, and I'd know if I could hear the motor kind of clicking, or if it was something with the relay or something like that. That's where this kind of stuff comes in. And there are a lot of things you can check here with the actuation test: door locks, the intermittent lamps, the headlamps, rear wipers, flashers, that kind of stuff. So that's always very useful to have. Obviously, you've got a clear fault here. Let's have a look at the module information. That will basically tell us what's going on in the car. Not much I can decipher there, unfortunately. And then we've got the data stream here. You can basically pick up on anything you want to test. Let's have a look at the instrument cluster as well, just as an example for you guys. Special functions, warning lap diagnosis, warning history, fuel meter diagnostic, outside temperature diagnostic. If you basically aren't getting the right temperatures, it's telling you on your dash it is outside. Again, you can have the module information. You can clear the fault codes, read the fault codes. Let's get back into here. Let's see if I can find you something else in here. So we're now in the ECM, the electronic control module for the engine. Let's have a look at the actuation tests on here. And here we've got the engine coolant temperature, the fuel injection, fuel pump relay, cooling fan, power balance, generating, and ignition timing. You can change your ignition timing here as well. It's just an incredible scanning device here, which will do so many different things. We'll have a quick look in the special functions as well. VIN registration, a lot of stuff I don't know. Misfire count. So basically you're going to have a kind of data stream there, which will basically tell you what's going on with your misfire if you have one. Target idle as well, the RPMs. You can basically set your idle higher or lower as you wish. I mean, this scanner here is going to be so much more than I could possibly ever need from a scanner. You can have a little look at your electric power steering as well, which is kind of useful. Your intelligent key, as in your remote fob, your rear camera, which we do not have. So I think we'll have a little look at maintenance. Manually reset. Now, what happens here, I've just found out. We just press Qashqai 2006 to 2011. It actually tells you how you can reset your service light on the Qashqai. You don't need the tool per se. It's just like a Google search basically, and it will tell you here service interval settings can be changed according to the following operations. So if we just press that, it tells you right there how you can reset your service light on your Nissan Qashqai even, just by doing this little function here. So yes, you could Google it, I suppose, but it's just another nice added extra. Even though it does say all service light reset, it's basically what it shows you in the other menu anyway. You just do it off your dashboard. Here we've got regeneration of the diesel particulate filter, throttle valve learning, we've got injector coding, ABS bleeding, steering angle sensor, adaptive gearbox, seats calibration, windows calibration. It just goes on and on basically into those lists there. That's where you effectively do your common special functions. Anyway, let's get out of there for a second. That effectively is the auto detect results for the intelligent diagnosis. We've looked at the local diagnosis as well. The service function is as you would expect. You can do anything pretty much in here. Adaptive front lighting, the AdBlue, the fuel reset, the coolant bleed. You can do EGR adaptation, DPF regeneration. It'll do them all basically. I think there are 39 different service resets you can do on here. And that has been the overview of this beautiful scanner, the X431 Pro 3 Ace Elite from launch. And I hope you've enjoyed it, guys. I hope it's been of some help to you. If you like this kind of stuff, you want to learn more about coding and scanners and diagnostic tools, generally speaking, please consider subscribing to the channel. We try to get a video out every couple of weeks. We obviously don't do just these scanners. We do cars and bikes and camper van conversions, how-tos, tutorials, all that kind of stuff. Just check the back catalog catalogue on the channel, Budget Cars and Bikes. But from us at Budget Cars and Bikes, that is it. That is the launch X431 Pro 3 Ace Elite. Whew, that's a mouthful. And our thoughts on that. It's an incredible machine. I think if you were a kind of semi-pro or professional environment, this would set you up. You wouldn't need another scanner, basically. This is the only scanner you're ever going to need. It'll do everything you could possibly want and a bit more as well. It's not really what I would call for the amateur, because you don't need this kind of functionality. I think possibly something like the Kimberlin K7 or K8 would do you just fine. They're bi-directional, I believe, as well. So you know, if you're just looking for a budget bi-directional scanner, check out one of those. We've reviewed those on the channel as well. If you are more in a professional environment, as I said, then the X431 Pro 3 Ace is your go-to scanner. Around about 800 quid off Amazon at the moment. I would suggest you buy it from Amazon. Don't buy the cheaper ones from China off their websites, because you'll pay import taxes, you don't get any support, and it's just not worth your time or your money. Just be safe, buy from Amazon. You know you can return it. They'll give you your money back if there's any problems. Talking of problems, if you've got any questions or problems, please put that in the comment section below. I read every single one of them, I promise. And as I said, if you like this kind of stuff, please consider subscribing to the channel. Give this video a like, a share, a thumbs up, all that kind of good stuff. We'll be back in a couple of weeks. So from Budget Cars and Bikes, that is it. Thanks for watching, guys. Take care. Hope it helped, and we'll catch up soon.